Hello, everyone. This is Group D's video assignment, and our video assignment is on communication barriers and power.
Base of power concept. There are two types of power, formal power and personal power. Formal power will lead us to three different types of power. First, coercive power, like your boss will fire you for not getting the job done, or the professor will fail you the class for not passing the exam. Second, the reward power. Basically, it will get a reward for finishing a project or getting a raise at work for doing a great job. Third is legitimate power. The legitimate power is authority. For example, the general manager has authority over his employees, or principal has authority over teachers.
Another base of power is personal power. One example of personal power is expert power. This has to do with the influence based on special skills or knowledge. For example, Dr. Fauci, during this COVID-19 pandemic, he was the voice of reason. Another example is referent power. This is influence based on identification with a person who has desirable resources or traits. This is an ad down here, and the example is celebrity baseball advertising cigarettes.
Transitioning to communication barriers in cultural context, filtering in the act of communication where the person giving the information adjusts the message to make it sound more pleasing to the receiver. Information overload is a factor that affects communication barriers as well. Information overload is caused when there are many distractions surrounding a piece of information that needs to be absorbed. So instead of being able to concentrate on the information, the receiver does not process the information given. Selective perception is the idea that people see the world and perceive information based on their own interests, experience, background, and attitude.
Emotion is another factor that plays a big role in how someone receives the information they are being told. The person will interpret the said information based on how they are emotionally feeling in that moment. Communication apprehensive is the stress and anxiety that goes along with the fear of oral and/or written communication. Language is a different meaning that words often have based on who the sender and the receiver is.
Communication barriers continued are high context culture, which is words and actions often have more meaning than people are physically saying or showing. An example of this is when a married couple communicates with each other simply through glances and movement of eyebrow. They understand what each other is saying without actually having to say it. They understand each other through body language and facial expressions. Japan, China, France, and Spain are places who use high context cultures. Low context culture means straightforward communication, where what is said in a message is meant to be perceived exactly how it's said. This communication style is where speakers don't stop for a second to offer their opinions and ideas. An example of this would be when a boss gives an employee explicit instructions verbally. Places such as the United States, Canada, and Germany use lots of low context culture. This concludes our presentation on communication and barriers. Thank you all for listening.